So today we're going to be looking at CanniMed Therapeutics. They just released their earnings report, so I mean you could look at the kind of condensed version that some websites have, but I like to go into the full report. And by the way, you can get it at SADAR. That's where it's at. There's a bunch of documents that they released today, so if you want to look through those, you can. Quick thing about this, they did release it a day late, and for a fairly big company like this, it's kind of annoying when they do this. They said they were going to release these earnings on February 23rd, and they released them on February 24th. So, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. But if you're gonna say that you're going to release your earnings on a certain day, then can you please just release them on that day? Whenever you delay it, it makes your company look a little bit fishy and unprofessional because you can't keep a certain schedule up, and it gives you a bad impression. At least to me, it does. If a company can't even release their earnings on the day that they said that they would. I mean, they said like 2 or 3 weeks ago that they were going to release them on February 23rd, and they didn't do it. So a little bit annoying, but anyways, moving on. So just going straight to their balance sheet. They currently have 54 million in assets. They had 78 million last year. They do have some heavy depreciation on property, plant, and equipment, which is fine. It is quite a lot of depreciation, which is interesting. I don't know exactly what type of equipment they're using and how fast it becomes, obsolete, but that's some heavy depreciation right there. Also, intangible assets, they also had a depreciation, and that's okay. Now the company itself is actually worth 243 million right now. The stock did go a little bit down, but this is nothing compared to the rest of the marijuana stock. Pretty much every single marijuana related stock went down today. Some penny stocks went down by like 20%, which is kind of ridiculous, including the one that I'm holding. But it's okay, they'll go back up in the future, or at least towards the end of the year they should go back up. So yeah, everybody's going down, so this is not that big of a deal. This is actually good. I'm surprised that this company isn't going down more. But regarding the intangible assets, so that's number 12, right? So they had some sort of rights to, should be over here. Yeah, they had some sort of rights to grid, water access, and various supply agreements, and those agreements ended, or at least they're close to being ended. So a lot of the value that those agreements held is gone. I'm surprised that a company like this, though, that's doing research on marijuana, I'm surprised that they don't have more intangible assets. So companies like this, the reason why they're worth so much more than, they only have what, 50 million in assets right now. Let's say 80 million if we include the equipment without depreciation. I'm surprised that a company like this is worth so much more than supplies that it kind of has on hand, because they don't really have any patents yet, or at least I don't think they do. I couldn't find anything on them, so I'm surprised that it's overvalued so much. If this company doesn't produce anything in the next year or two, then they're gonna go down, because yeah, they're selling, they have customers, but that doesn't account for the 243 million market cap. It's a pretty heavy market cap. So I looked through these. There's a lot of stuff on here, especially if you look further down. There's a lot of different things. So we are going to look at the condensed version just for the pure sales, because getting the sales out of this is actually kind of difficult. But their sales went up to 9.8 million, which is okay, I guess. That's good. The fact that your sales are going up is great. They sold an average of $9.65 a gram, which is actually pretty high. I mean, I know what the production costs for this. Companies like Aurora are going to be able to produce marijuana for $1 a gram, which is some pretty nice profit for Aurora if they're going to be able to sell it for like $5 to these companies. So that's good, I guess. But they lost 12 million on discounted operations, and their total loss was, it was pretty heavy. Where's the revenue statement? So their net loss for the year was 22 million, which is pretty significant. That does include the depreciation for equipment, so just take that into account. The loss from the operations is 12.8 million, which is still pretty high. I mean, that's a significant amount of money. They did raise 70 million, I believe, in common stock offerings, so they do have money on hand to actually play around with. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing really too interesting about this company. They're doing research. They have a certain, their clientele is growing for medical marijuana, and that's about it. So I couldn't find anything too relevant. I mean, they're losing money. Their sales are going up, but still they're losing money. This is pretty high market cap for a company like this. Yeah, they're a medical research company and they're doing some medical research, but still, it's still pretty high. If they don't start getting some very nice results in a few years, then this might go down because they need like a patent or something nice in order to be able to compete in the industry as it progresses. And they might get it. They definitely might. But still, it's something that we have to still see happen. And yeah, that's it. Don't have much else to say. If you want, you can look through this document. There's a lot of stuff. But I mean, $6.22 per share loss. That's pretty high, in my opinion. But these companies are overvalued fairly heavily. Some of them don't even have revenues, like OWCP. Why is it going to their website? Like this company doesn't even have revenues and they're worth 250 million. So once you consider that, I guess that this market cap isn't too bad, but still it's pretty high. So I guess we'll see how it does in the future. But I hope that helped. I rambled on for a little bit too long, but if you have any questions, ask, and that's it.